Is this that JPP podcast?
Can a grown man wear a jersey in public? How should someone act in the championship parade? The guys fire away on what makes a true sports fan, how to rate touchdown celebrations, and their thoughts on the influx of sequels, remakes, and spin-offs. All that and more this week on Just Press Play.
Pregnant ladies and little kids better get the hell out of the way, because I am running. I'm like Forrest Gump, dude. I am running. So, the Titanic was the biggest ship on the ocean, but that didn't mean it was unsinkable. Okay. All right. I want you each to use ombudsman in a sentence next week. I got one for you. My name is Kevin, the official ombudsman of the Just Press Play podcast. You like apples?
And we are back with another episode of the JPP pod, and we got the regulars. We got Pops and L. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
Glad to be back.
Not a whole lot. I got to go on a trip to a Mavs game this weekend. Oh, by the way, Dad, it's dark as we're recording. At daylight savings time's really kind of kicked in.
Yeah. Did you get out in time to water your plants?
They didn't need watering. We got rain last night, so we were all good.
Okay. Bullet dodged.
All right. There we go. We still got a whole week to go, but
the plants are okay. Thank you for your concern, LJ.
Well, I'm sure all the listeners were wondering how you were dealing with this day.
It's rough, but it's just the first day. It's usually the depression doesn't sit in until about Wednesday, and I notice it's dark still when I get off work.
Well, we'll see if you can make it onto the show next week. We'll figure it out.
I know it'll be tough, but I'm gonna try to work through the pain.
Thoughts and prayers are out with you.
Thank you. Yes.
By the way, we are recording this episode right after a good weekend of college games and NFL games, and we are still brought to you by MyBookie, where you can go in and put in the JPP and the promo code, and they will match your deposit dollar for dollar. And the football season's just really starting to get good. All the big games are happening, so I mean, there's no better time now. Your fantasy team probably you're either really good or you're canned. I mean, you're done. So
I don't think there's an in between at all.
Like
this year.
LJ,
yeah.
You're either good or you're bad. So if you're bad, hop onto MyBookie, put in that promo code, and start winning some money. It's no other way to do it.
The good thing is since they match our contribution, then I get to lose my money over twice the amount of time and play for longer, which is wonderful. Like that's
right.
That's going to be great.
All right. So this weekend I did get to go to a Mavs game. It was a Mavs Knicks, so it wasn't a super exciting matchup as far as besides the fact that the Mavs have some young talent. I mean, the Knicks, Porzingis isn't playing.
Well, of course, we're wondering right now where Kevin Durant's going to be, and it could be one of these two teams. Who knows?
It could be New York. Yeah, I mean, we're all about 2019 free agency. That's really the biggest storyline of the 2018 season, right up.
And that's what we've got for you this podcast.
So I was going to mention the game was okay. The Mavs, the game was fun. It was very enjoyable, but the Mavs did lose to the Knicks, I think by 12, but it was like a 15-point all fourth quarter. So as a Mavs fan, it kind of stunk. But I will say, Luka Doncic, I'm super excited for a 15-year, hopefully, career from him in Dallas. I hope Dirk can just pass that baton right over.
Yeah, fair.
But I noticed, and I wondered about y'all, and if y'all have ever seen this. One thing I like to do, or one thing I've noticed on TV, and then I especially when I was at the game, is men have no clue how they want to wear their jerseys. And I start that by saying, one, what are y'all's thoughts on, especially so I've always worn jerseys, and I'm starting to get a little older where I start wondering, am I too old to wear jersey? And I'm going to go ahead and say now, no, I'm still rocking that jersey.
Okay.
I'm just going to throw that out. So I want to go first question over to L. Do you think there's an age to when you stop rocking the jersey, or you can always rock it?
Absolutely not. Anytime. So while I was thinking about jerseys, I asked, because I thought, okay, so Kevin's got these thoughts about wearing jerseys, and I thought that's a single man problem, because a man with a partner will either be told what to wear or she won't care.
Well, that's true. That is
doubt
true.
about it, LJ.
So
Nail,
I know
head,
exactly.
hammer, you hit it.
You may not believe this, but I have once been in a relationship, maybe once or twice before, and you are totally right. These are single man problems.
So I'll wear my jersey until Hannah tells me I'm not allowed to wear my jersey anymore. But as far as I'm aware, no age. So
I don't
right,
know.
Pops, what about
Wait.
you?
I think y'all would probably, and NBA jerseys are a little different. I think a football jersey.
Right. I was going to bring that up too.
They're a little different because they're tank tops and all. And I think y'all would probably think I looked a little odd wearing an NBA jersey. I could see that.
Well, that fan inside. Okay, so
I could wear it to a game. I
As
could
an
wear it to
older,
a game, but just wearing it around the house, I think y'all would think people,
maybe not practice.
maybe not practice, maybe to the game, but not around practice. So what would y'all think? Seriously. I mean,
I would say it's a confidence thing. If you wear it and feel like, oh, I'm too old to be wearing this, or maybe I shouldn't be wearing this, then you shouldn't be wearing it. But if you don't care, then like it doesn't matter. And like, don't wear it to a business meeting or a restaurant.
Right. But then I'm not basing it on confidence or lack thereof. I'm basing it on I've not seen any of my buddies wearing an NBA jersey. Like,
because they don't have the confidence. They don't think they ought to be. They think they're being childish or something. That's their problem, not yours.
Or their significant other told them not to.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's the issue of what men are having is they don't know. Do you wear an undershirt? Like I saw one person going just full on no undershirt, and I will say with an NFL jersey, like you were saying, Dad, those are like shirts. And a hockey jersey, that's a thick jersey, and baseball jerseys have sleeves. But the NBA, to go no sleeves on that's a ballsy move. I hope you got the confidence to.
Yeah. And I will say, you can find on the web some YouTube channels that show you how to wear an NBA jersey. Have y'all seen those?
No, have you got any
I'll send you,
like particular one we can put in the show notes?
I'll send you the links. I've got 2 links of guys that show you how to wear. And one is that one guy gets the color wheel out and shows you complementary colors. He really does. But now his deal was kind of a jersey with the flannel over the top of it. And then he did accessorize. Yeah, over the top of the jersey's kind of open. You have your flannel jersey, shirt open. So you're showing your.
Okay. Like a button-up flannel.
But a button-up flannel unbuttoned, but with the complementary color on the color wheel to the jersey, which was probably kind of funny.
I straight up already disagree with that though, because you got to rep your team color. If that's not a compliment, then that's, if you're wearing a Mavs jersey, wear blue or green in your flannel. You know what I mean?
So both the websites I saw, either you wore an undershirt or you wore some kind of shirt over it that was a complementary color. That's what I saw on the internet.
Okay, well, straight up disagreement on the complimentary.
I feel you, brother.
So some guys go no undershirt, and it kind of, as you said, LJ, I saw the guy with no undershirt, and I kind of at first thought, I don't know about that. But I mean, the dude was just rocking it, and it didn't look as weird. Now, if he was like real subconscious about it, it probably would look weird. But he was just like, F it.
Like every time,
it was a total frat guy. He had like short shorts on and some like Vans on, and he was just like, I'm rocking the jersey, and he was probably a little bit tipsy. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there. He just didn't care. He didn't care what the F you thought, because he was gonna be obnoxious and be him.
Well, but the other thing is, I think at a sporting event you can get away with whatever, like be shirtless. I don't care, whatever.
Yeah,
like it's a different.
You can get away with more.
Like you can wear anything you want as long as you're not like offending everybody around you with like an odor or something like that. Then do what you need to do.
Just put on some deodorant and you can wear the jersey however the hell you want to.
While we're on this, I want to ask the question: like guys without sleeves is very informal, right? A guy in a tank top, no matter what, is informal. Women wear tank tops all the time. I mean, maybe not tank tops, but they wear sleeveless blouses, if you will, or whatever they call them. And they're fine.
Dad, are you just discovering that men and women's fashion is different, or what's happening here?
No, I'm just wondering why girls.
You've been on this earth for a little while. I figured you would have noticed that.
I've also noticed that like when a woman wears a skirt, that can be formal, but when a man wears a skirt, all of a sudden people are kicking me out of high schools. I don't understand.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Maybe my issue is not an issue.
So what do you do? I was thinking about this. I'm not the guy that's going to go no undershirt. I'm wearing an undershirt under my basketball jersey.
I would too.
And so I wear like a long. It was supposed to be kind of chilly, so I wear like a long sleeve like Nike shirt that I have underneath my jersey. But What about the guys that are real dress up kind of people, kind of like Andy Bernard, like the Nard dog on The Office, and they're always buttoned up to the T. What do y'all think about a dress shirt underneath, like a collared dress shirt underneath a basketball jersey? Because you see that a lot. I will say people of like worried about what you're saying, Dad, where they don't see many people their age wearing jerseys. So they're wearing a nice collared button up shirt and then they throw the jersey over the top and they think that, I guess.
Well, I can tell you if I'm going to wear a jersey, I'm not wearing a collared shirt and a button up shirt under it. I'm just not. I'm going to rock it with a t-shirt under it or a long sleeve t-shirt. And that's how I'm going to roll. I'm not that guy either. I think that looks silly. Well, I don't like a button-up shirt.
It might look silly, but what I'll tell you is I work a lot on Sundays, and I am a diehard Broncos fan who happens to die hard a lot these seasons lately.
A lot of dying.
Right. So I work, in a place where I'm like, I got to dress up a little bit oftentimes because I'm running mics for a show or whatever. So I'll throw the jersey on over a button up because I'm going to rep the jersey, but like I look at least a little nicer. So, that's what I do. I'm not saying that it's a fashionable choice, but you're not going to stop me. So,
well, but you're doing it for a different setting. You're doing it for work that you happen to be doing on Sunday and repping your team.
Right. I'm not showing up at the stadium.
At the stadium,
collared shirt.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a little different aspect of what I'm thinking about. But I would not show up at the arena in a button down shirt under a jersey.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I get your Sunday thing.
Do one or the other.
Yeah. I bet I get your Sunday thing.
Yeah.
What about the guy that shows up to the game? I know, LJ, you were saying at the game you can do whatever, like all bets are off. What about the person that shows up in like the full on Knicks jumpsuit? Like I saw one dude straight Knicks pants, Knicks jacket, like zipped up halfway with a Knicks jersey underneath. Looked like he was getting ready to go do warm ups on the court.
Love it.
And he was a portly man. It was an awesome look.
I love it.
I would never do it probably ever, but I was like, shout out to you.
It's like when you go watch like say Star Wars or something like that, and you see somebody in the full Jedi robe, and you're like, you kind of laugh a little bit, but you're also like, dude, I wish I loved Star Wars as much as you. Like that's awesome that you're doing that. So
yeah,
I'm totally down.
That's the time.
Do that. I saw the guy at the Vikings game painted purple with the helmet on. Like all about it. Bring it on.
Speaking of fans, I actually enjoy. So we were sitting next to a New York Knicks fan, and I actually at times enjoy sitting next to a fan of an opposing team. But I mean, it depends because there can be, and I think that person can be obnoxious. There's definitely a way to act at a game, and I think you talk a little bit of crap. You cheer in their face a little bit, but also don't just be a total ass. Like even the Mavs fan can be that, or the Knicks fan. Right. And I personally, I don't know. I guess you take your chances. I like sitting next to another fan, but I've had just as many games where there's been that obnoxious fan next to me as I've had games where there's been a fun fan.
Yeah, I would say that's like a place that you are sort of situation, especially if you're like in a really like a sports bar or something like that. Like, yeah, put me next to like the biggest Raiders fan in the room. I love it. But like if I'm in a stadium, like if I'm in a college football stadium, I want to be like by the student section. I don't even necessarily want to be near an opponent because like that's the fun of the college football experience is like the whole stadium rooting together and like it's the most divided or whatever. But yeah, I agree. I think sitting next to an opponent that's not an asshole is a fun situation. Whereas like it can totally ruin your day too. Where if somebody just won't shut up, it's just awful.
Well,
but
especially probably
keywords. Don't be an asshole. I mean, if they're just
that's life.
They can be as big a fan as I am of their team as I am of mine. Just don't be a dick. But I love talking about the particulars of my team versus your team.
Because then you can kind of both vent to each other like,
and you can dog each other a little. Yeah.
Yeah. I work with an actor all the time who's a Raiders fan. I've done 2 shows with him now in the past like year. And every time we see each other, we kind of have this like, who's going to win? Who's going to win? It's fun. I don't know. It's fun. It's fun because rivalries are what sports are about to me.
Right. I agree. So my last one, and I think this one we could differ on a little bit as a group. When is it ever okay to leave the ball game early? Pops, I want to go to you first.
Okay. If I'm really, I guess the difference is if I'm really into the game. I mean, if I'm seeing my team like the Arkansas Razorbacks, and I mean, I'm probably going to stay till the bitter end. I mean, because they're my team, I'm supporting them, hell or high water.
If you're watching the Razorbacks and they're getting just destroyed by UNT, you watching that whole game?
More likely than not, I'll stay till the end. Yes. just because I'm going to support my team through thick and thin. But I will, if it's a game if the Cowboys, and I mean, I do love the Cowboys, but not like the Razorbacks and they're having a bad season, or the Clappers making bad decisions again or whatever.
Well, that's probably happening at the game, whatever game you're going to.
I would probably sneak out a little early to beat the traffic. So that's probably where I fall down on that.
LJ, what say you?
I mean, I hear, Dad, I just would never leave a game early unless there's no reason for me to be there. If I just don't care about the sport or something like that, I'll leave early. But otherwise, I'm there to enjoy my time in a stadium. And then when I'm thinking, well, what time should I leave to get out with the best traffic? But that kind of thought in my head messes up me enjoying the moment. So I would rather just not think about it and get out with the people. Although I do get that other people's brains work differently, and that actually can maximize how much you enjoyed your evening. But for me, it doesn't.
See, so I was thinking the reason I thought it could be interesting is because we were sitting at the game, we saw some Mavs fans leaving early, and it was, as I said, it was like a 15-point game the whole fourth quarter, and then it was still it just traded baskets and never got within 10. And then 4 minutes left, it was still 16-point game. So the Mavs could have maybe made a run, but maybe not. Plus, neither of these teams are probably making the playoffs. So I get why people are kind of uninterested. But I was I'm not going to leave. I'm here to Mavs game. I want to stay, and I don't care. Traffic's going to be bad regardless of when I leave, because it's always just a mess getting out of a stadium. So it's whatever. But I thought, when I was thinking this out the next day, I thought, well, it kind of depends, because I know there's been some games where we went with Pops, and it's a Sunday night game or something, and he's still he's driving back that night, and he's still working. We're still going to school, and I think it kind of maybe changes with age and responsibility.
Well,
right now, as a
24-year-old,
I was like, screw it. I don't care. I'll stay to the end of this game. If it takes an hour to get out of here, if it takes whatever, I don't care. I'm just staying. So I think it maybe,
to your point, in my life right now, I can just say, well, tomorrow's going to suck. But it's a little bit harder to say, well, tomorrow's going to suck if you also have to wake up 3 kids and make them all buttered toast and, it changes things
or whatever.
And listen to them whine and then sit in front of the TV for an hour when they should have been getting ready and they're still not ready.
Exactly.
I get that person. So,
because I'm thinking we're leaving Friday anyway, and I'm going to have to drive back, and I'm not going to get home till 3 or 4 anyway. So Saturday, I'm just going to be tired. That's fine. Right. I'm just going to be tired. Right. I can deal with it. But it would be worse if I'm going to just come home and be tired and have a bad day, plus have 3 nagging kids and just whining at me, and I have to it does change. It probably does change with your responsibility. So maybe I can get that. I can salute the guy leaving early with four young ones right behind him.
Right.
Oh my God, they're growing up.
All right. So speaking of fans and how to act, I want to bring up, we haven't done this in a while, so I want to bring in we're tossing it back to the game. We got Etiquette with Kevin coming back, and this week for Etiquette with Kevin, we're doing how to act at a championship parade. And I want to preface this with, we may or may not be the best people to ask, because I don't think we've had a bunch of championship parades in the near past.
Not a lot of championships come through Dallas in your lifetime, Kev.
No, well, there was a few championships when I was a little baby kid, and then nothing since. So it was like a playoff drought, and then I know LJ's been on the cover of the newspaper right after a championship.
No, I was on SportsCenter.
Yeah, it was on SportsCenter.
On SportsCenter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's some experience here, but the way this has got brought up is the Red Sox were going on their parade because the city of Boston won another effing championship, and now their fans are kind of catching some heat because beers were being thrown up to the little duck boat that the players and coaches all ride on as they parade through downtown. Mm-hmm. And the Red Sox outfielder Mookie Betts, who's probably their best player, said that this definitely has to stop. And he said that he almost got hit with a beer and he had to dodge beers and was swatting beers away. And then the trophy even got damaged with beer. So I'm just going to toss to you, El. And now it became like a big Boston fans are so terrible. There's just, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happens. They're bad winners. Do you have a problem with them throwing beers to the duck boat?
Oh, absolutely. Why would they be doing that? Okay. So I live in Chicago, and I have since the Cubs won the World Series, which was the 7th biggest gathering of human beings in the history of the world.
Depending on who you ask.
Yeah, well, okay. We could talk about that if you want to. But
did Donald Trump say that?
No, he said it moved down to 8.
Bigger than the inauguration, for God's sake, really?
I'm just saying.
Moving on. Yeah, let's not.
None of that happened as far as I could find. I could not find anywhere that people were throwing beers at the players and like damaging the trophy. That sounds like a Boston problem to me. That sounds like Philly fans throwing batteries at Santa to me. That sounds like a bad fan base that doesn't know how to appreciate a championship.
Well, I may have a different viewpoint on that. So
hey, go ahead.
Okay.
They were throwing full beers at the bus or whatever the ride that the players were on, right?
Right.
I think they were trying to give the guys a beer to drink. I don't think they were trying to.
I think it was, it was more throwing to the players, not throwing
at.
Right. It depends who you ask. Like some people are like, they're throwing beers at the bus. No, I think they're throwing beers to
them.
It sounded like the players didn't necessarily want them throwing the beers to their heads.
Well,
except for the players that caught it and chugged it and got cheered for it.
Well, if any professional player should be able to catch a beer, it should be a baseball player, right?
Yeah, but also like there's a lot of sensory overload going on when you're in a parade float, I would imagine, with the entire city of Boston out there just throwing things to you. I apologize for almost saying at. Because there's only so much of a swivel your head can be on after your day off too. You just won the big game. Like you shouldn't be focused on making sure you're playing the arcade game of catch every beer coming at your face.
They shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have been throwing beers, but I think they were doing it in a good sense, not like the batteries, like the dog pound would throw batteries. I don't think they're throwing them like that. That's bad.
Well, so where I wanted to, I started doing it because I think I've seen this in my past. So I started doing some just previous research. And then in Boston in 2013, David Ortiz everyone loved it when he like reached his hand out and someone tossed a beer, snagged it with one hand, cracked it open and started taking a drink, and fans went nuts. And then last year, defensive end for the Eagles, Bo Allen, actually tweeted out before their parade, "Hey fans, will y'all please throw us some beer? We don't have any beer on the bus. We're trying to catch some and drink it." And of course, they threw it out. Doug Peterson even has like a video all over YouTube, which I'll put on, where he catches a beer one-handed and starts drinking it. And these are cool things. And then Jordan Bell last year with the Hennessy, going out to the crowd and getting some Hennessy. Everyone loved it. I don't think this was a Boston thing. This is how championship parades go. And they may have got a little out of hand. One of the beers, apparently one person, 19-year-old, got arrested for throwing a beer at Alex Cora, who is their manager. And he got arrested for danger to the public. And also, I think another charge was drunk in public, or however the correct way to say it. I think he was probably a very lubricated 19-year-old, which is also below the drinking age.
Right.
But Alex Cora was asked about it, and he said, honestly, I should have just had my head on a swivel and been ready to catch it. I wish I would have caught it and drank it, but it happens.
Probably a practice that's meant well, but needs to disappear.
Yeah, I mean, and if like a particular person asks for it, then I say, yeah, go for it. But I don't know. That should be your day off to celebrate. You shouldn't be like worried about getting a concussion while you celebrate your championship win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, so I thought about, I bet a lot of the people throwing beers were probably not 100% sober. And I thought about these championship parades usually go on during the day. Like they probably start at like 10 or 11 or even noon sometimes. So I was going to ask you guys, should fans at a parade, should they try to, should they be drunk? Should they be drinking? Should they not? Because I know how I'd probably be acting if I got a chance to go to like the Mavs parade after they won in 2011. What do y'all think?
I mean, with a little experience in having that, I'm not going to tell anybody that they should be drunk. Like that's not the game I'm in. But I will say I would not judge anybody for being drunk at noon on a championship parade day, because you got the day off to celebrate the thing that you were hoping would happen, and like whatever. It's a big gathering of people. It'd be like telling people you can't be drunk at Lollapalooza or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, let it be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yes, I agree completely. You can't tell people what to do, and day drinking's fun sometimes. I mean, it is. So, I'm not against it.
It does. It will skew your judgment when all of a sudden, like, because you're used to it being dark and stuff, and all of a sudden you get a little inebriated and the sun's still out. It just throws your whole normal game plan off.
Yeah. True that.
So I got a game I want to try out with you guys, and go ahead. The name is being workshopped here, and please, for any listeners, I've kind of tried to ask Dad and LJ, and they didn't come up with anything better. So if you have a better name for us that's not something that you've already heard, throw it at us. But we're going to play a little game of like it, love it, or hate it. And basically, I'm just going to kind of something that happened over the weekend / week, and you just tell me your thoughts on what clearly whether you liked it.
Just press play or just press stop.
Yeah. Whoa. Hey. Whoa.
Hey.
Did we hit some? Just press play or just press pause? Just press pause. I don't know.
Oh, that's better. We're refining it already.
Next week when we play this game, we might have a real creative name. But if you have one, throw it out to us. We're accepting all applications because we need some help in the creative department. So this weekend, College Game Day was at LSU, Alabama. It was the big game of the week. It's always a big game when those two teams play, but it was big because they were number 1 versus number 3. And I've never heard of this guy before, but James Carville, who apparently he's an LSU alum, and he's when I looked him up, he's a political strategist.
Strategist. He's been around a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. He was on Colbert a lot, by the way. That's where I really know him from.
Okay. Well, he seemed like he was someone known or something,
decades.
but
he's well known.
Yeah.
He came on the game day set, and he went on there and basically had this big, first off, he was wearing a shirt that says Greg Sankey Hearts Alabama. And then in French,
and for our listeners, who's Greg Sankey?
He is the SEC commissioner.
Okay.
And
not that I needed to know, just for the listeners.
And
I was fine.
In French, on his jersey underneath that, it said, "Kiss my ass, people." So I didn't know what it said, and then I looked it up later and realized that's what it was saying. So clearly this guy is not worried about any backlash he's going to get. And he came out and had this big conspiracy theory / rant where he basically just noted, I'm not going to rattle off all the names and teams, but he just noted that many SEC teams have had their players either get ejected while playing Bama or getting a call in the previous game that forced them to miss the first half. Because the way targeting works is you're ejected from the game, or if it's in the second half, you miss the first half of the next game. And he just noted that Tennessee, Missouri, A&M, and now LSU, and it all stemmed because LSU's best player, Devin White, on defense had to miss the first half from a very controversial targeting call the previous game. And he went on this big rant and basically just said the SEC favors Alabama. They want Alabama to win. And ESPN then later broke into programming about an hour afterward to apologize on behalf of the station for Carville's comments. And they specifically apologized to the SEC Commissioner, Greg Sankey. So all that being said, do y'all like it or love it that ESPN had to come on? Like it, love it, or hate it that ESPN had to come on and apologize afterward when they probably knew what he was going to say in his big.
Or you want me to?
I mean, I thought their apology was bullshit, so I guess I'm going to say I hated it. I mean, if you had the guy on, you know what he's going to say. You're priming the pump for him to say it.
Yeah.
Then own it. That's what they wanted. So I thought it was a bullshit, cheap call, whatever, to come on and apologize. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
agreed 100%. What I was going to say was that he wrote this article about this exact subject, 12 days ago or something like that, where he had claimed it before their bye week even started, there was this big conspiracy. And then they had him on the show and then asked him what he thought about that targeting call. So where did they think he was going to go with that?
Right.
I mean, you don't have to even read his shirt to know where he's going to go with that. And then they come on and apologize. So did somebody come on and tell him, you better be nice to us or we won't sign a either go all out for this baloney entertainment industry that ESPN is, or try to be more serious, but don't let the controversy happen and then apologize later. That's ridiculous. I'm not a fan. I hate it.
Right. I mean, well,
also,
that's
it's
what
a false conspiracy, but
and that's what Carville slammed him afterward on Twitter, basically saying, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he was just like, gutless ESPN had to cut into their show and bow down to the SEC. I have evidence where they knew what I was going to say on air, and they can't help but suck it up to the power, or they can't help but suck up to the power. I'm with you, El. I think they knew what he was going to say. They knew he was going to get on there, and they wanted to pump it up as ratings. People would like this guy just going on a big rant. And then afterwards, oh, that was a little more than we thought. Let's apologize.
And the other thing is, it actually, it's a smart move by them, even if nobody asked them to apologize, because otherwise, would we talk about this? Would we care that James Carville went off during game day? No, we wouldn't care at all. But we care about ESPN doing this half-assed apology. So we're talking about ESPN now. So hate it, but I guess smart. I don't know.
Yeah. But based on the rules of the game, I hate it.
Absolutely.
I think we're all in agreement. So the next one is just the Gus Johnson effect. It was in full effect again this week, and I was going to play the audio for you. There's been some technical difficulties, but in the West Virginia-Texas game, Gus Johnson was calling the game and just lost his mind yet again because West Virginia scored a touchdown with like 16 seconds left. And it was good. The question originally was going to be just, do y'all like Gus Johnson in games and how he goes nuts and bonkers? But then it turned into Dana Holgerson afterward went for 2 on the play after they scored a touchdown and put them within 1. He decided to go for 2. And there was video evidence or video showing before they did it where he looks over at his starting quarterback, Will Greer, and says, hey, you can read his lips. He says, hey, you want to win this game? The quarterback nods and he says, let's effing win this game. They go for 2 and then get it. So my question, I think, is, do y'all like it, love it, or hate it that he would just ask his quarterback, hey, because what if the quarterback would have said, like, let's kick the extra point? Like, him just putting it in the hands of his, like, 20-year-old quarterback. What do you think?
I mean, I love it. I think it's great. Why would that be a bad thing? I mean, it may not necessarily. I love it. Let's go with that.
I agree. I'm going to go with LJ on that. I love it. I mean, if the quarterback would have hesitated 1 iota, then you kick the extra point or whatever. I guess you go for overtime, or I don't remember exactly what the score was. But if he is chomping at the bit like you are, then you're like, let's effing go win it.
Like,
let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
And they did go on to get the 2-point conversion to win it 43-42 in a great game. I will say, I think I like it too. The only thing I don't like out of this scenario is, I don't know if y'all have seen Dana Holgerson, who's the coach of West Virginia. He's got to change up what he's doing with his hair. He has like long hair, but it's the weirdest thing. It's like really long, but it's completely bald on the top. He looks like a mad scientist who's like, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but
I'll have to look that up. I can't.
I'll put the video in the show notes of him asking the quarterback, do you want to win this game? And you'll see what I'm talking about. But it's just it's an interesting thing he's got going on top of his head.
That reminds me. So I heard some people talking about who was Mike Gundy. You know, I guess he was in the news for something last week. They played him
and Texas. Him and Tom Herman. No, they beat Texas, and him and Tom Herman almost kind of got into it.
Right. Well, who was it? It was maybe it was Golick Jr. I happened to listen to a little of the old Mike and Mike, which is whatever it is now. It's not as good. But they were talking about how good looking Mike Gundy was, that he's really aged well and all that. Which, I mean, Mike Gundy's a decent looking guy, but I just thought it was hilarious when you're talking about this guy looks like a mad scientist. Gundy's kind of got the mullet, you know.
Dana Holgerson has not aged well, while Gundy has. Holgerson has not. All right, the next one I have is you guys I'm sure you know him, Dad, if you remember watching Sports Reporters back in the day, but old Bob Ryan from the Boston Globe.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He had this tweet over the weekend ahead of the LSU-Bama game, basically calling out sports fans. And here's what his tweet said. He said, there are true sports fans and there are selective sports fans. True fans follow pro, college, golf, tennis, and international sports, among others. Don't say you're a true sports fan if you're not fixated tonight on the Alabama-LSU game. Thoughts?
Screw him. I hate it. Yeah. Screw you, Bob Ryan. I mean, kiss my ass.
I read that and I was like, what? I mean, you could be a huge, I don't know if you're a true sports fan, but some people have lives. I mean, you might not be able to catch every big game every time it ever comes on. And then it ended up being a 29-0 blowout victory for Alabama. So those true sports fans decided not to go out with their friends and watch that game. And instead they watched the 29-0 shellacking.
Get a life, Bob Ryan. Sometimes there's more important things to do than sit your ass down and watch sports. Now, and I love to sit my ass down and watch sports. Don't get me wrong, but.
Well, that's called gatekeeping, where you try to tell somebody that they're not a big enough fan of something, or like someone who's like, oh, well, you think you like Childish Gambino? Then what's your favorite song off of his EP from back in the day? It's like, you're just an asshole for trying to be that person. Like, I can like somebody without knowing everything that's ever existed in that world, you know?
So can we add to the name of the game, like it, love it, or you're an asshole? Can we add that?
So far, it kind of works, actually.
It could work so far. Okay. All right. One guy that many GMs may think is an asshole after taking all their money is the king finesser of the NFL, Sam Bradford. I don't know if you saw this over the weekend. The Cardinals cut Bradford Saturday and wound up paying him $10 million in signing bonuses this year, about $2.5 million in base salary, and another $1 million in what they called playtime bonuses. I'm not really sure what that is, but that means he got a total of $13.5 million for playing in 3 games and finishing just 2.
Wow.
My man.
Wow.
Yet again, cashing in. So I have some interesting stats for you guys. I saw on Twitter per Field Yates that Bradford finished his Arizona tenure by collecting over $250,000 per pass as a Cardinal. And then Darren Ravel tweeted out, he calculated that Bradford's career earnings are now at $127.5 million in his career. So I looked up what his record is. His record is 34-48-1. That means that he has earned $3.75 million per win.
Wow.
And also, if you look at his touchdowns, he's made $1.3 million per touchdown.
Wow.
My man. So the question is, like it, love it, or hate it, that Bradford's probably going to be the highest earner of our, like in the past 10 years.
I
And
love
it's
it.
under 500.
Love it for him. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, yeah.
I'm not looking to hire him on my team, but get your money, man.
And the thing is,
awesome.
he'll probably be a backup quarterback again, if not this year, next year. I mean, he'll get another contract.
All right.
He might ought to go be a starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars is what he might ought to do. Seriously.
You know, my thoughts was as soon as I read some of these things, and because I've known Sam Bradford benefited big time from, he got drafted first overall right before they did the rookie wage scale.
Yeah.
So he made like $70 million guaranteed in his rookie contract, which, but my first thoughts were, I don't know. I don't need an agent right now. I know y'all are probably stunned, but if I ever need an agent, I'm calling Sam Bradford. I'm asking who the hell his agent is, because that guy somehow, like, I don't know how he somehow worked out $13.5 million from the Cardinals when the Cardinals drafted a quarterback in the first round that they probably knew they were going to put in at some point this season.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It's just
That's a good
insane.
point.
I don't know who his agent is, but he's been finessing the NFL for over 10 years now. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's got a good agent, no doubt about it.
What is Le'Veon Bell trying to get paid? Do you know, per year? Do you have any idea? Because it probably
I
is less than
don't really
Bradford
know
made
per
as a
year.
backup here.
I think.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's probably less than Bradford made for 2 games.
I think his goal was like $20 million per year. But if he would have signed the tag, he would have made $14 million this year, which is what Sam Bradford got this year. So
For 3 games.
That's Sam Bradford with one more half.
for 2.5, yeah, if he'd have finished out that half, he might would have made what Le'Veon Bell made this year. That's insane.
Jeez.
Speaking of guys who benefited from the rules, but benefited before the NFL made that rookie wage scale, did y'all see what went around today? Apparently, the Raiders, after they drafted Jamarcus Russell back in the day, and he got paid like a crazy amount of money. Did you see the report came out today that someone from that front office said that they thought that Jamarcus Russell wasn't watching film. So what they did was they gave him blank film to go watch when he went home. And then the next day they asked him, like, hey, did you watch film? He said, yeah, I was really watching all the blitz pickups, and I think I got a good hand on how they're doing all their blitzes. They sent him there with a blank tape.
Yeah.
Oh my
a blank
God.
DVD. They'd give him a DVD with nothing written on it. And he'd come back and tell what he saw. Yep.
What a
That
bum.
was a smart man, that Jamarcus Russell.
What a bum.
Made a lot of money.
He could have been making that Sam Bradford money if he just applied himself, right?
A little
It was
bit.
the right time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and that's the thing about Bradford. Bradford has tried. Bradford has, you know what? I don't fault him one iota for all the money he's made. That's why I think we all said we love it. I mean, he's put in the effort. He's tried. He's done his best. Jamarcus Russell just got that big check and just
cashed
everybody
in.
off.
He just cashed in. He got his $70 million guaranteed and was like, all right, I'm cool, whatever.
Yeah, that's BS. That's BS.
Speaking of LJ, you mentioned Le'Veon Bell, so my next one's going to go to the Ravens defensive coordinator, Winky Martindale, which we've had a string of good names with coordinators here. We had Freddie Kitchens last week. There's Jim Bob Cooter in Detroit. And we got Winky Martindale came out with the hot Le'Veon Bell take right before they ended up losing to the Steelers, but before they played the Steelers. And he said there are a lot of stats that the Steelers are actually better without him, referring to Le'Veon Bell. That might be why he's riding on a jet ski down in Miami right now. And he's referring to, like, in week 1, Le'Veon Bell posted a picture on a jet ski while the Steelers were playing. So I think what he's referencing, and LJ, I think you brought this up too, there are some like statistics that show without Bell and with Bell since 2015, they averaged 29 points without Bell and 23 points with him. And they averaged more yards without him. But their records were pretty much the same. So I get what he's trying to say, but like it, love it, hate it, him just throwing a shot at the other player's team, other team's player, LJ.
Well, okay, so there are 2 parts to this. I hate the use of statistics because I think I mentioned to you guys that the way that those statistics read to me is that they had better time of possession with Le'Veon Bell, and that's it. That's all I read out of it. But what I love is that he's trying to sow unrest in an already breakable locker room. So I think that's great. I think that's, like meddling in the election, if you will, to try to mess up the country. So I think that's a clever political move by a defensive coordinator that has no interest in talking besides to mess up the other team. Like what else does he have to gain besides them not being very good at their job? So
yeah,
I love it. I think it's great.
I didn't think about it like that, and you make a good point. I mean, if you're the defense coordinator for another team, you already see that if nothing else, it's an odd locker room. So why not throw a little lighter fluid on the fire? But I'm with you. Like what I do enjoy some stats, but you can make stats look however you want to, and
especially these stats where it's like points per game. If you take one player out, like that doesn't really matter unless it's the quarterback, really. And even then, it might not matter. So, because I think I mentioned. Well,
and as we all know that Pittsburgh has a very good quarterback. So there's nothing.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing is like you expect when they put the ball in Roethlisberger's hand more that they're going to have more points. That's just a fact. But I was saying in that same thing that those stats also look like maybe JJ Smith-Schuster got really good over the last 15 games or whatever. Like is kind of how that reads to me. So I don't know.
What do you think?
Hate the read off, but love the play.
Well, I don't know. You'll have to decide how of which of the three things, but I just thought it was almost much ado about nothing. I think he was doing what LJ was alluding to. He was trying to get his defense fired up to say, hey, they're still a good offense. They might be better without Le'Veon Bell. We better be ready to freaking ass play. And also to throw a little discord into the Pittsburgh locker room, which is a little jacked up. I think LJ hit the nail on the head. I thought Martindale's doing exactly what he should do. And it didn't bother me one iota. So I guess maybe I liked it. I just thought it was a non-event. It was like, okay, big deal. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So
you're kind of a little meh
better than indifferent. And since there's no indifferent, that's easy.
Yeah. So, okay.
So I don't know if you saw, and many people may have forgot about this team, but UMBC, who's also known as the first 16 seed to ever beat a 1 seed in last year's NCAA tournament when they beat Virginia, they lowered their banner because college basketball is getting ready to start back up. And they lowered their banner for the year, basically saying they were conference championships. And they lowered a second banner that said 2018 NCAA tournament second round. And they put the score of the game against them in Virginia. And of course, the seeds of the game. So I was going to ask you guys, like it, love it, or hate it, that they lowered a banner for that game, even though they lost the next one and were out of the tournament.
I love it because, I mean, they made history. They're the only 16 seed to beat a 1 seed, right? The only one.
Yeah.
And, extenuate the positive. And that's what they're doing. So I love it.
What about you, El?
I'd rather say I'm kind of indifferent to it because it's like, on one hand, it's like, rub it in Virginia's nose. Like, that's pretty funny. If I'm a Baltimore native, I think it's awesome. But like me being who I am, that kind of feels like you're putting a participation trophy up. You like made the tournament and then happened to get an upset, which was bound to happen someday to somebody. Just happened to happen. And it just doesn't feel like banner worthy to me. So
that's fair.
Mostly indifferent, but definitely not hate. I don't hate it. So
well, that's why now the more we've done this, I think we are changing the name. I don't know if we have the name yet, but it may be just press play or just press pause. Just because I'm with you, El. I don't hate this because hate's way too strong, and I do think it's cool that they were the 16 to beat the 1. But you lower the banner for winning your conference tournament. I get it. That's winning the tournament. That was awesome. But your goal, I mean, I know everyone says it, but the goal wasn't to get beat in the second round. It was to win, and they didn't win the tournament, so they came up short of the goal. So I don't like lowering a banner for that. Keep on their Twitter, keep making jokes, keep doing all the stuff they're doing, keep rubbing it in. I like that, but I'm with you. I don't think it's banner worthy. I think that was kind of silly. But
I don't know if you saw the amount of flack that the Colts got for putting up a banner for 2014 AFC finalist. I agree with that. Who cares? That's win the big game, put it up there, or, winning their conference.
I guess I think
absolutely.
The Colts are different than UMBC, I think. So, I mean, I just think who knows if they're ever going to get, that's probably their top of the line. It really is. So,
yeah, but it's not like people are going to forget about this. But this will come up every single March until somebody else does it.
Yeah, no one's forgetting this. We're going to show highlights of this every year before the 16-1 game. And every time there's that game, because it happens every year where there's one where the 16 seeds like hang hanging around with 10 minutes left in the second half, and they're going to show highlights. You remember when UMBC beat Virginia,
The miracle can happen. I can already see the ads right now, and we'll be talking about it every year. I guarantee you.
And that'll be seen by more people than the amount of people. No offense to UMBC, but that'll be seen more by the people on TV than the people that go through their stadium, because I'm guessing they're not like a highly trafficked stadium.
Yeah.
Speaking of people celebrating big things, I think we saw the best touchdown celebration of all time over the weekend, and that was John Gott during the Ottawa Red Blacks game. It was during one of their home games. The offensive lineman celebrated one of his team's touchdowns by running into the end zone, which, if you know CFL, I believe that like the end zone's right there where the fans are, like right at the end of it. So he goes to the end zone, reaches over, takes a beer out of a fan's hands, and just chugs it. So I don't know. We'll put for anyone that hasn't seen it, we'll put the video in the show notes. But like it, love it, or hate it, the touchdown celebration by old John Gott. LJ,
I think I love it. Oh, I'm sorry. I went out of turn. Love it.
I do too. I'm not usually one to encourage somebody to drink on the job, but that was an awesome example of that. And also we were talking a while back about how like the hockey players are like just the lumberjacks of sport, where they don't actually like care about, they use the cup as a spittoon or whatever. Like, who cares? It might just be Canadians. It might not actually be hockey players, but just all Canadians are like, uncouth lumberjacks that are awesome dudes. So,
well, if I could have ever pictured a football player doing this, it's definitely an offensive lineman. It's definitely a big old offensive lineman. So my first thought was like, did he score a touchdown? Because I saw this big man. Score? No, he's just celebrating a team's touchdown and just went and chugged a beer. But then my next thought was, how many? I know the NFL's gotten a lot looser on celebrations. How many years? He's probably suspended for like 8 years for doing this in the NFL.
The Patriots would lose a draft pick if it happened. So
yeah, they would have lost a first round pick.
Oh, come on. Big man thirsty. There's a beer.
Right. He's got to stay hydrated.
Get him a drink.
Beer's mostly water. It's fine.
Mostly water.
I wonder if the fan knew that he was going to do this before he grabbed the beer. Because either way, the fan was probably like, best $9 beer I've ever had in my entire life.
Given away or got stolen.
Yeah.
Because that would be an awesome moment. But I wonder if it was kind of a planned thing and he had a full beer. Because, and by the way, that guy, if you're looking for how to chug a beer, he chugged the crap out of that beer, just pouring it down his mouth. He didn't.
Well, and through a helmet, too. It was like, he had to,
through the face mask.
It was like a fountain. It was impressive.
As far as rating beer chugs go, that was a solid like 9.5. I don't want to give it 10 just because there's probably a 10 out there. But
I'm going to give it like an 8.5 because there was a lot running down his jersey. Like it was not a perfect chug. Like
he just got it's a big 300-pound man who just got done sprinting. He's probably out of breath and now he's chugging a beer through a helmet.
We're talking about a 9.5 means that there's one chug that's better, and there's more room to improve. Like if he could hit that perfectly, then we'd be talking 9.5 or 10. But we're not there yet.
Maybe you have a point. If he hits that perfect, then I think he's hitting a 10 out of 10.
Barstool terms.
God,
that's a rookie score.
It's like LJ's a figure score judger in the Olympics or something.
I'm just saying, you got to leave room at the top just in case,
Okay.
Just in case.
Now, for our last one, I want to go on to a totally different, not sports related at all. Over the past week, I saw, which I didn't realize this was in the making. I guess it is, but Tom Hanks was talking about Toy Story 4, and he said that the ending was so intense that he didn't want to face the crew afterward. Which, damn it, I want to have to go cry in front of a bunch of little kids at the movie theaters. And then I saw LJ and you. I don't know if Dad, you were a big fan of these, but I know me and LJ watched them. But Bad Boys 1 and 2 were two huge movies, and they were a long time ago. And over the past week, or last week, Will Smith had an Instagram video where him and Martin Lawrence basically confirmed that yes, there is going to be. I thought it was Bad Boys 3. It's apparently going to be called Bad Boys for Life, and it's going to come out in January of 2020. So I think my question to you is going to be,
that's a terrible title because
Bad
there's
Boys
a
for Life. Well, they say that
the third one.
True. That's not clever marketing by them, is it? They're not thinking.
Because what do they call the fourth one? That is the perfect name for the fourth one if they were to ever make it.
Well, I think maybe this is them saying.
Let's just throw that out there. I hate that.
Okay. All right. I don't think it's where he's going, but I get you. Okay. LJ's got to hate on that.
Where I was going to go, and I agree, I didn't think about it, but you're right, LJ. That's just dumb. But where I was going to go is all the different sequels we're making. Like I'm going to be in the theaters to watch Toy Story 4, probably. I love the first three. Like I said, I'm going to be sitting there crying with a bunch of little kids. And then I'm probably going to go watch Bad Boys 3, but I'm tired of all the sequels. So I all the sequels. And Pops, I'm going to go to you. What do you think?
I don't like the sequels, but I think what we're seeing in the industry is if Toy Story 1 was good, people are going to come to see Toy Story 2. So, and they don't want to gamble. They don't want good movies are not getting made because they have to make money on the movie. And like Good Will Hunting, I would bring that one out, which I don't know if anybody knew was going to hit and be great. And it was fantastic. Thank God that movie got made. But you know, Toy Story 4 and you know what? I'm going to go watch Toy Story 4. I can't wait.
Damn right. Yeah.
I mean, I cannot freaking wait. I love the Toy Stories.
You even said you might watch the other 3.
I'm going to rewatch the other ones. Absolutely.
No shame. I might do it too. Yeah, no shame.
So
Can we just we watch one
I pulled the
Toy
video.
Story a week and talk about it? We just react?
Yes, absolutely. We'll have a rewatchables like Bill Simmons does on the Toy Stories.
We'll rip off rewatchables. We'll just do one Toy Story a month or something ahead of that, or a week up into
replayables.
There we go.
Stolen.
There we go.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. So I'm excited about Toy Story 4. So if you're asking me about sequels, I mean, I guess I probably what's between like and hate?
They usually aren't as good as the ones before, right?
But some are. Usually. You know,
some are.
Toy Story 3 might be the best Toy Story.
Toy Story 3. I watched the end of Toy Story 3 and I got a little misty eyed just watching on YouTube.
A little misty eyed. There's some tears coming down.
Yeah.
So save some of those comments about which one's the best Toy Story for our replayables later.
Okay.
But
damn, I just gave away my position.
Spoiler alert. So LJ, how do you feel about all the sequels? Well, one, how do you feel about these movies and the sequels?
Well, I did just do a little Googling, so I want to go back to the awful title. I just wanted to let you know another series of sequels that has the worst names ever. Just for the sake of putting it on the podcast. So the Rambo movies, the first one's called First Blood. The second one's called not Second Blood, but Rambo First Blood Part 2. The third one's called Rambo 2. So they dropped First Blood. And then the fourth one's called Rambo. And then the fifth one's called Rambo 5. Those are the worst names for
They had no clue what they were doing. They had no game plan for what movie would be next.
Yeah. Right.
They're like,
sometimes you make one movie and don't expect it to be good enough for a sequel, but like by the third one, have your system figured out, you know?
No, basically, from what I'm gathering, they were like what Dad's saying, where the first one made money. It's like, hell, let's just do another one. And they just were doing it. They just thought they'd do one more and try to get all the milk they had left in this cow. They're like, holy shit, this made money too. Let's make another one.
Yeah, but never once thought about the name. But okay, so to answer your actual question, I hate that so many movies are sequels, spinoffs, and remakes. I just, how many Spider-Mans does the world really need? I just, whatever. So yeah, I hate that. I like original movies, but the more I was thinking about it, the more I think that like back in the day, a movie like Good Will Hunting would hit theaters because like that was the only way movies really got to people. So like the artists in the movie industry instead of the moneymakers in the movie industry would fight to make sure that they were represented to the public. Whereas now the public that wants artistic movies don't go to the theaters anyway. So you're going to catch it on Netflix. So an indie film does just as well. Kevin Smith was just like 15 years too early. Because this Netflix era totally is the time to be putting out just great movies on a no budget. So, I hate it, but also like it turns out it really doesn't affect me much.
Yeah, so, you're right though. All that comes out in theaters right now, it seems like, are sequels or big superhero movies, basically.
Well, they're all damn owned by Disney.
They're just playing off. Yeah.
Because it's just those Disney owns Marvel, Disney owns Star Wars, Disney owns Pixar. Like, name a movie series that's not a Disney series.
Well, it goes to Dad's point too. I didn't know. I didn't expect us to get on a big movie like state of the movies, but it's like what Dad was saying too, where you're not making that movie that may or may not make money anymore and putting in theaters. It kind of goes to what both of y'all are saying, I guess. Yeah, because
I guess they're going to Netflix, but.
Well, and think about, to Dad's point, think about what a producer is looking at when they're making a movie. It's an investment. I mean, it really comes down to it. It's got
to make money. Yeah.
Well, it's the same reason people buy Van Gogh paintings is it's not because like you've got to have this piece. It's because it's worth millions of dollars and will continue to increase in value. So
right. I'm looking at two scripts and I go, this script's really good, but this Spider-Man 4 script's going to get sold out for the first weekend and make a shit ton of money. So which one am I going to choose? And at the end of the day, it's a money making business, not best movie making.
It's hard
business.
To be mad at Sam Bradford for making money,
right?
But as long as I'm still getting good football, I'm not going to complain. I guess I take back my complaints.
Hey, without sequels, we wouldn't have got all the Bournes. I mean, I loved all the Bournes. So
I
never watched the last one without or the
Jeremy
one.
Renner.
I never watched the one without Matt Damon. Yeah, the one with Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
I watched that one and it was okay too. That wasn't as good. Matt Damon. I'm a big Matt Damon fan.
Matt Damon is
but
Jason Bourne.
Yeah, he is Jason Bourne.
So that will wrap up this week's episode of the JPP Pod. Unless you guys have anything else you want to throw in.
No,
I don't think so.
Well, by the way, we're gonna be coming out with, we do the NFL stuff. So if you're looking for where to put that money on, I mean, you already know where you're gonna go. You're gonna go to MyBookie and put in the promo code JPP25. And if you put in for right now, it's the NFL season's going on, so I don't know how much longer they're gonna keep going. They will double your deposit. And if you put JPP25, I'm giving a little bonus for you guys that listen all the way to the end.
Oh,
they'll match it all the way to 100% and give you $25 on top of that. So it's just a steal. Wow. I don't know why you wouldn't do it.
What a dude! I listen to the end and I really appreciate that. I listen to the end every time.
I do too. Yeah,
it's nice to hear. Thank you.
And if you're still here and for whatever reason you don't subscribe to the JPP Pod, then I don't know what you're doing, but you might as well just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Just do it.
Rate it. You can give us a rating too if you want.
Yeah, give us a review. And if you got a better name, right? I think right now we're sitting at Just Press Play or Just Press Pause. I think that's what the best one I've heard so far. But if you got a better name, hit us with it.
Yeah.
You always got to leave room at the top. There's always room at the top.
Yeah, that's an 8.5 name right there. So there's room. There's room.
All right, I think that will do it for this week's episode. It was an 8.5 episode, so we will holler at you later this week. Peace out.
Peace.
Did you see how that Big Ben went down with it looked like career-ending shoulder injury, and apparently he just got the breath knocked out of him and came back the next play.
I saw someone Big Ben.
Kevin, don't get me started.
He had a decent game, but it was just like it went down to like Siciliano, and everybody's like, "Ooh, he went down hard on his shoulder. It could be that's bad. And he was on the ground forever. And then Dobbs comes in and throws. Because I was kind of like, well, I've always thought Joshua Dobbs might be a decent quarterback. He comes in and throws a good first down on 3rd and 11 from his own 10. And then the next play, Ben Roethlisberger's trotting back out there. And I think apparently he just had the breath knocked out of him.
Big Ben's as injured as his job is secure. That's always the case with him, in my opinion.
And then I saw
if he was left out, he would have come back in week 2. I guarantee.
I saw a bunch of tweets.